India's sweeping labour law overhaul has introduced major changes to how gratuity and other retirement benefits are calculated.
In a landmark reform that will impact lakhs of employees across the country, especially those who frequently switch jobs, the Government of India has officially reduced the minimum service requirement for gratuity from 5 years to just 1 year.
With the implementation of the four labor codes, will your take home salary go down? Let's decode in today's video. Hello and welcome to Unacademy IAS, a one stop destination for all the English medium civil services aspirants. Before I start the discussion, I have a very important announcement to make. All those who are preparing for the Civil Services 2026 and 2027 exams, our courses are available at a 25% discount now. Use the code IS English and you will receive this particular discount. I've been told that the offer is going to end on 30th November 2025. Do not miss out. Those who are interested to enroll, check out the details by clicking on the link provided in the description. Let's begin the discussion. First and foremost, whenever you want to understand the impact of the four labor codes on your take home salary, the gratuity, etc., you need to understand what is the latest definition or the new definition of wages under the new code. Because in the context of the social security schemes, the social security benefits that we end up getting as workers, everything is connected to the definition of wages. Now, let's say a person will join a company. And when the person A will join the company will provide the offer letter. In the offer letter, they will mention what is the cost to the company. CTC, cost to company. Now, this particular cost to company will be used to calculate what is your monthly salary. And this particular monthly salary essentially will have multiple components. The most important component will be the basic pay. In addition to the basic pay, there will be multiple, I repeat, multiple allowances. For example, you might receive housing rent allowance, you might receive conveyance allowance, you will receive overtime allowance, etc. Now, what has been the practice of the companies? The practice of the companies has been that the basic pay will be kept very less and the other allowances are kept very, very high. Let's take a simple example. Imagine a person is supposed to receive a monthly salary of 50,000 rupees. Out of 50,000 rupees, the company generally will keep, let's say, I'm taking a hypothetical example here, 15,000 rupees as a basic pay, and the remaining allowances will accumulate up to 35,000 rupees. And why is this done by the companies? It is done by the companies because whenever you talk about social security benefits, for example, Employees Provident Fund Organization, EPFO, wherein the companies will have to contribute along with the employees will have to contribute. The amount of contribution is calculated based on the basic pay here. It is on the basic pay, although technically speaking, it is on the basic pay, DA, etc. But most importantly, it is the basic pay which is considered here. So, in order to reduce their contribution, that is the employer's contribution, so that it is lesser, the companies will have very less component of the salary in the form of a basic pay plus a DA, and the other allowances are kept at a very, very high level. Now, look at the most important change that has been announced by the government under the Social Security Act. That is the Social Security or Code on Social Security or Code on Wages. What has the government of India done now? The government of India essentially has changed the definition of wages altogether. The new definition, again, I'm focused on the Code on Social Security because talk about gratuity, it will come on Code on Social Security. Talk about EPF, it will be under Code on Social Security. Talk about EPS, it is under the Code on Social Security. So, what is the most important change in the context of the wages calculation? According to the new code, the total allowances which are part of the salary that is given to the employee, If you put together the total allowances, it shall not be more than 50% of the total salary. And salary, we use it in the context of monthly payment. If you consider this as a CTC, that is a cost to the company, which is generally provided in the form of per annum. Per year, how much will be the total cost incurred by the company on the employee? So the total allowances that will be provided by the company now shall not be more than 50% of the salary or 50% of the cost to company. Now, as a result of this, what will happen? The wages, what will be considered as wages now? The wages under the new code will be equivalent to the basic pay plus DA, that is the dearness allowance, plus retention allowance. Retention allowance. And whatever other allowances are there, it could be conveyance allowances, the HRAs, the overtime allowances, all the other allowances shall not be more than 50% of the salary that you receive. And as a result of this, if I take the previous example, where the basic pay was 15,000 rupees and all the other allowances were put together 35,000 rupees, now this number will change into 50,000 rupees, that is divided into the basic pay or the wages for the calculation of social security benefits will become 25,000 rupees, and the remaining allowances shall not be more than 25,000 rupees. Please remember this particular point. Make a note of this. Why? Let me start now. The EPF as well as pensions. How this calculation is going to change, and what will be the impact of this changed calculation on your take home package. Let's start. We have a concept of EPFO, Employees Provident Fund Organization. The government of India controls it, or basically has the government backing. The companies or the establishments which have at least 20 employees. This particular definition or the threshold has not been changed under the Code on Social Security. It is the same. Those establishments which will have at least 20 employees now are mandated under the law to register with EPF and provide the facility of EPF as well as the EPS, that is the pension as well as the provident fund, to their employees. And according to the law, what is the contribution that these particular companies are supposed to make? If an employee is working in this company, 12%, remember the number, 12% of the wages, 12% of the wages, the employee has to contribute to EPFO, that is to the schemes here, and the employer as well. The employee 12%, the employer as well will have to contribute 12% of wages. 12% of wages. Although, when you look at employees' contribution as well as employer contribution, there will be a slight difference in terms of for what purpose the contribution is done. For example, in case of employee, 12% of the wages that is contributed will entirely go to the provident fund. Whereas the employer contribution of 12% is divided into two parts. 3.67% will go to EPF and 8.33% will go to EPS, that is the pension scheme. But more importantly, focus on the word wages here. Focus on the word wages. Like I said earlier, the wages basically was the basic pay because the DA etc. are not given to private sector company employees. So basic pay was considered here, and based on this, right, the 12% used to be calculated and contribution used to be done. But now the calculation of wages will change, and let me explain that using the same example here. Earlier, the wage was how much? The basic pay of 15,000 rupees. So 12% of 15,000 would become 1800 rupees. Employee would contribute 1800, employer would contribute 1800. But now 12% of the wages, that is the wages basic pay plus DA plus retention allowance, which will be 50 or above 50% of the total salary or the CTC, will become how much? 25k. Right? With this particular 25k, if you calculate 12%, it will come out to be 3000 rupees. And let's say this employee who was earlier receiving a salary of 50,000 rupees, salary of 50,000, out of which 1800 rupees. Again, I'm not considering other types of deductions here. I'm simply considering EPF contribution. So earlier 12% would be 1800 rupees. That would be deducted and the remaining salary would be credited into the account of the employee. But now with 12% being considered out of 25,000 coming out to be 3,000 rupees, the employee shall not receive 48,200 rupees. Employee shall receive 47,000 rupees. Is how the new rule associated with calculation of wages is going to influence the take home salaries of the employees. But please understand this. Based on only this information, do not jump to a conclusion that the new labor code is not in favor of the employees. Because mind you, India, the workers in India or the people who are working in India, there is a habit that they do not save sufficient amount of money for taking care of their health, taking care of their expenses after retirement. So government of India is now more focused on with these kind of laws or these kind of provision providing more relief to the workers. In simple words, the government of India is ensuring that we feel short term pain for the long term gain. Because with higher contribution, with higher payment, obviously the amount that we get after the retirement in the form of pension, etc., will change, will become higher. This is one very important change. Next, gratuity. What will happen to the gratuity now? First and foremost, what is the connection of gratuity with the labor code? Listen to me carefully. Until now, there was a Payments of Gratuity Act. Until now, the gratuity was provided under Payments of Gratuity Act. Now, this particular Payments of Gratuity Act has been subsumed under Code on Social Security. And with this, how the gratuity payment will change? First and foremost, the government of India now mandates that even if there is a contractual employee, that is, you are hiring somebody for 2 years, 3 years, fixed term employees, even if they complete 1 year, then this has to be provided. But more importantly, how the formula or how the amount that we receive under the new labor codes will change. Let me explain that. The formula used to calculate gratuity is like this. Wages, I'm writing simply wages. Generally, the technical term is last drawn wages. Wages into 15 by 26 into the numbers or the years of service. The number or the years of service. This is basically the formula. Again, focus on the term wages here. Again, focus on the term wages. Like I discussed earlier, the companies used to calculate wages in a different way. The basic pay was very less, other allowances were very high. Now, under the new code, the wages would be much higher. With the higher amount of wages, automatically, when the companies will calculate and provide for the gratuity of the employees, because this number will increase, the overall amount that we receive under the gratuity will also increase. There you go. Under the new labor codes, first very important change, the wages definition has been changed. Basically, we count more amount under the basic pay now. We have more amount under the basic pay compared to the earlier practice of the companies where they used to suppress the basic pay, have more amount of allowances. The total allowances cannot be more than 50% of the cost to company. With that, the wages or the basic pay plus DA plus retention will become higher. The wages would become higher. The amount of contribution to EPF will increase. The employer's contribution will increase. The gratuity amount that we receive will also be much higher. Right? So these are certain very important changes that are going to take place with the implementation of the four labor codes. Now, here is a question for all of you. Please solve the question and do let me know the answer to the question in the comment section. Consider the following statements. All the establishments must be registered with the EPFO. The Employee Provident Fund is a government backed scheme. EPFO is a statutory organization. Three statements are there. What is the right answer to the question here? How many of the statements are true? Do let me know in the comment section of the video. And if you've gotten the benefit of the discussion that I've done so far, do not forget to hit the like button. If you're yet to join our YouTube channel, kindly do it right now. Thank you. Take care.